Here we are again. My gents. The men who want to go out there and get it. The men who want to go out there and take control of their lives and their families and be a great role model for the youth. Let me tell you something. As a historian, something that I've learned along the way, something that I've analyzed. The ultimate colorist. The ultimate colorist is black women. Let me just put that out there. Hear what I'm about to say. See, what a lot of people don't understand is black women hate being black more than any other race hates being their race that they come from. Because it's been sold again and again in America and abroad and all over the world that black is not beautiful, that it's not the most aesthetic quality in a woman. And black women have internalized this. And a woman's beauty is almost everything to her. Almost everything to her. Now, it doesn't have to be just physical beauty. It can be mental beauty. It could be spiritual beauty. It could be, different types of beauty. But let's be real. The women today, the only thing they care about is physical beauty. The only thing they care about is physical beauty. And what black women sell to the black community and what they have internalized is the same thing, that black is not beautiful. Let me tell you this. They've internalized it so much. They have sold it back to the black community so much. A lot of people think that black women dating white guys is new. No, it has never been new. This is old. It just hasn't been talked about. It just hasn't been publicized. It hadn't been disseminated or talked about like that, because there's a certain idea of lowering yourself when you're white to date black. Everybody knows that. When it's a false, it's a false pretense. But the thing is, that's what in realization what goes on in the minds of whites today. So black women dating white men is not new. But the thing is, black women would actually throw away black culture if, like, God came and told them tomorrow, you could be white. That's just, that's just bottom line. When they say black men date white women because of self-hate, no, they're talking about themselves when they say that. Black men don't care about being black. We love being black. We love the culture that we have. We've broken barriers. You think an NBA player or a electrician or all the way down to a janitor is like, man, I wish I was white. No, he probably wishes he has a fair chance as a white person, but he doesn't actually wish he was white. A black woman actually wishes she was white. She wishes she had white women's hair, very lighter skin, if not the skin of a white woman. And if you came to a black woman, like if God came to a black woman and was like, look, tomorrow you're going to be white. There's only one thing. You have to throw away the rest of your culture. You could never go back to black culture. You could never support black people or anything. And you can never date a black man again. I'm telling you. I know this is I can't get my words today, but I know this is a far reach analogy that God could just come and do this, but the thing is, I'm just giving an example. So yes, if God did that, most black women would trade in their culture for white skin. And this is quietly hurting the black community because it's not talked about. And not only that, but black women will never tell you that this is how they think. Now, all the men who are straight and who know themselves and who date women on the regular, like not scared to approach women, or have been in the mix, the scene, the vibe, the game, or whatever you want to call it, they know that there's some things that women will just never tell you. There's some things that women just can't be honest about. And that's fine. That's okay. That's why men are made to be leaders. And one thing I'm telling you is that as a leader of the black community, I've been a role model for young black people. I've been a brother, a son, to black men and black women. Black women will never tell you that we don't like our black skin. We don't like being black. Like if we could have the ass and the body and be white, we would, and we would sell black culture to the birds if we could be white tomorrow with the white hair and everything. I mean, like I told you in the last video, there's only one woman that wears another woman's hair texture. There's only one person in the world that wears. I'm not talking about the fake hair that other races put on too, that they that looks like theirs. I'm talking about black women actually put on hair that does not look like their own hair, and calls it a day. They think that they walk around as if they are in a normal state. To this day, it is a contradiction. And they'll justify it in many ways, but it's not justifiable. It can only be justifiable if they wore their own hair that looks like theirs, and then said the other things like I'm trying to protect my hair, or my hair not being done every day. Okay, that's justifiable. But wearing another race of woman's hair on your head daily, and to look good or to appeal to the own men in your community, that is a contradiction. That is feeding trauma. That is feeding colorism, and that is feeding internalized racism. And I'm sorry to say, but a black woman will never admit to this, ever. The ones who do, I'm proud of you. The ones who don't, I knew they won't. I knew they wouldn't. I already know they won't. Because you got to understand that I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tell you a little story. Little story real quick. Black women, when I was in the 7th grade, they made fun of this black girl that liked me at this new school that I went to. But I actually liked her, and they made fun of her so much, like different people and even different girls, like, were like, they made fun of her because she was so dark skinned. Like, she was dark skinned. But I didn't realize, like, her dark skin like that. I just saw her as a black woman. I just saw her as a black girl because I came from a black school. I came from a black school, all black school, to a mostly all 90% white school, or 80%, no, I say 90% white school. And I got there, and I'm coming from this all black school, so all the black girls are like liking me. They're attracted to me. I got a certain swagger about myself. I play ball, you know. I knew the popular dudes in school before I even got there. So you know, I'm lit. You know, like, I'm lit when I get there. And I like this girl, and she's very dark skinned, Lapita or even darker, and had some sexy lips for a 7th grade. I think it is, no, 8th grade. Had some sexy lips for 8th grader. Body thick body, just ass, big titties. And after school one day, I was fingering her and sucking on her titties, like in the front near the front office. Like, nobody was at school anymore. Everybody had gone home. We were waiting on our rides, and you know, I just started talking to her, and then she was like, "What?" She was like, "Why?" Like, I was getting close to her and stuff, and I was, you know, hugging on her and, you know, pushing on her, and I was like, "Let's go to the restroom," and she was like, She was like, "What you trying to do?" And I started kissing on her neck, and she's like, "Stop," you know, whatever. And I'm like, "Nah, I'm just playing." But then eventually I got to start, you know, pulling out her titties and sucking on them, and fingering her right there on the bench in front of the office. Like, I guess it wasn't no cameras right there. I guess, or they didn't check the cameras, or I don't know what happened, but it was clearly like we could have got in trouble for that. But the next day, everybody knew about it. The next day, everybody knew about it because her friend was actually there, and her friend had kind of left for me to do it. Like, she kind of saw how I was pushing up on her and kind of like walked down the hall, but she kept passing back and forth by as I'm fingering her and sucking her teeth. She kept passing back and forth down the hallway, like not by us, but like just to see, are we still doing it? Are we still doing it? And the next day everybody knew about it. And you know, I remember this one black dude named Jared came up to me. Jared came up to me and was like, you fingered Mercedes? And I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm like, it was a weird question. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you come up and ask me that in front of like everybody? You know, like, you tripping. And I look behind me, and there's, you know, like 3 black girls standing, and one that it likes me is over there, and they start giggling. And I'm like, okay, like, I don't really care. But then more of the school started to learn about it, and they started to ask me like, why did I do that, or when did you do this, or did you do this? And they just wanted to hear me say, yeah, I did it. And I noticed that it was like kind of usually when you do something like that, you kind of get oh man, like, dang, I can't believe, was it like, but it was more like did you do this? Oh my God, I can't believe you did that. Like, she was nasty, or like it was. And I think that what it is that is internalized by black women and internalized by black men more that are in white spaces than black men who are in black spaces. And because these black women in white spaces have so much of a voice now, because of these black parents who want to move their kids out, mostly black women want to move their kids out into white spaces, who don't look at black women as a sensual or aesthetic of their community, then those black women ultimately grow up. And I mean, that hurt that girl in school, and it changed my view of black people, period. Like, not only did I not want to be around black people who were whitewashed, but I also started to date lighter skinned girls. And I mean, I was a child. Like, I didn't understand that them making fun of me for doing that and making fun of her for just as a person changed my view of, or my preferences of, black women. And it's horrible. The thing is, this happens frequently in America. That's not the first case. I mean, I'm sure other black women can tell you stories worse than that. Like, the thing is, they don't really know what to do. Black women don't really know what to do. They don't have authority to do anything about that. And as a child, I didn't have authority to kind of understand and combat what was happening at that time. But black women never have the authority to combat that. And that's why they lean to feminism, because feminism somehow they think gives them some type of authority. But the other thing they lean to is dating white, because they think that it will give them some type of class, or move them up in social relations with other people and other races, so that they don't feel low, or like of low social class, or of low aesthetic, that they are somehow appreciated by white guys who are at the top of the sexual preference list. That's why when black women date white guys, they seem like Eve. I don't know if you know Eve. She seems like some type of like proud about it, like ultimately proud about it, because it's like a reinforcement that, oh yeah, see, I am beautiful. And the hate that they have for black men just persists. It just keeps going. And now this is the part where I gotta say that this won't change. because black women refuse to change. I don't know if any of y'all have read Deepak Chopra book, The Third Jesus, The One of Enlightenment. It's a beautiful book. I mean, one of the greatest books in my collection. And he says in the book that the ego and God cannot exist. And as the black man is God, and the ego that black women have toward the black community, I don't believe that the state of the relationship between black men and black women is going to get better. That's why I think that black men need to make a strategic move right now and start to date other black women, like of the islands, of Africa, of South Asian and the Latin Americas. And I'll have another video on telling you why all those places are black people really at the basis. But like I said, black women are if you want to call them, the queens of colorism. And that is not going nowhere because their ego won't let them admit that this is a problem in the black community that black women not only deal with, but also resell it again and again, and hurt little children with this idea. Like I told you, your dad is not telling you, no, you getting too dark, stay out the sun, or your hair looking your hair looking nappy, or he might tell you get a haircut, but he's never telling you that you need to have nicer hair, or your hair need to look like this, or praising hair that looks like a certain way, and that's just the basis of it not working out for the black relation in America. And the fact that you want a strong woman like that is going to support you from here on out, because I don't know if y'all looked around, but inflation, prices are getting higher, the cost of living is getting higher. You need a woman that is going to help you get to a certain threshold, a certain status, a certain you want a woman who's getting you to a certain point in life where you can leave your legacy, your seeds, your family in good standing. So yeah, that's my video. That's my analyzation of that. Comment if you think that colorism lies in the hands of someone else. But for me, yes, what I've analyzed is that colorism has been internalized more by black women than any other woman on the planet.